Hey, welcome back to another episode of Mikey's Video Game Madness. Hopefully that was energetic enough and kept your attention because I'm going to probably fail miserably at it for the rest of the video. I apologize ahead of time. Hopefully you'll stick with me though. But if you're a long-time follower, I appreciate you always watching my videos and commenting and supporting the channel however you do it. But for those that are new to the channel, I apologize. I'm actually snowed in today, but I would probably record this video regardless, but you know, it adds a little bit of, I don't know, some interesting tidbit I could share with you that I'm snowed in. I really don't think any of you probably even care. A lot of you guys are from regions where it's probably been snowing, so I don't know. I'm snowed in. Whatever. Anyway, this is Resident Evil 0. This is a remake of a GameCube game. This also came out on the Wii. If you don't know, the Wii was basically a glorified GameCube. You actually can play your GameCube games on the Wii. I have the GameCube version of this. This is on PlayStation 4. I probably didn't message that because I went into the whole little snow tangent, and then I caught myself not knowing what to say. It'd be so great to have like a co-host to like feed off of, because like if you guys heard some of the conversations I've had with my friends and stuff, you'd be like, well, how the hell is this commentary like so spacey all the time? Because if I have somebody to like go back and forth with as far as conversation goes, like I'm pretty good, but you know, I'm staring at a screen and I'm trying to think of things to say, and apparently I had a brain fart at snow. But oh my gosh, it's been a long week. You'll see a part in this video, and if I catch it, I'll point it out. Actually, during the recording of this game, which I'm glad I recorded the gameplay footage before adding the commentary. Sometimes I'll do the commentary when I play the game. It's hit or miss. Each video has its unique flair. Lately I've just been recording the games and then compile them on my computer and doing the commentary when I feel like it. The only problem with that is that yeah, you gotta think of stuff to say, but at the same time doing gameplay and commentary is hard because you have to focus on the game and you gotta figure out things to say at the same time, so you're a bit more spacey. But I've come to find out, knowing that I'm recording, that makes it hard too. It makes me a little bit spacey because in the back of my mind I'm always like, this might be interesting, this isn't interesting, this is slow, I gotta keep on moving, yada yada yada. But the more I do these videos, I realize that I can just cut the boring shit out. I usually don't because it's part of the gameplay experience. I cut out some of the menu screens and stuff like that just because this video was going past 30 minutes and I'm trying to not make the video overly long. I wish I could do 15-minute videos and that's it, but oh my gosh, I would start talking and I would get in a tangent and then I'd realize I'm running out of time and then I wouldn't know what to do, and I would feel like the video was half-assed because I didn't have enough time to say everything I wanted to. Even on these longer videos, I'll start the video and I'll be like, oh my gosh, what am I going to talk about? I don't have the game to focus on or react to things on the screen while they're happening at the same time. Of course, I could watch this and give you a play-by-play, but to me personally, when I watch other people's videos, no offense, I know there's a lot of Let's Players and they're more successful than my channel would ever dream to be, but it's personally something that I don't enjoy watching. I kind of just like the chit chat videos that I do, even if they're spacey. I actually kind of find the spaciness endearing in other people's videos, and those are the kind of videos that I enjoy. That's what made me want to start making videos, and that's what I emulated. So yeah, I guess there's a certain spaciness to my videos that are uniquely mine, but part of the way that I do my videos is is trying to emulate a little bit of some of the videos that I've enjoyed before I ever started making content. I've just enjoyed that because, you know, I used to have weird hours at work and stuff like that, and just having a more human, laid back, spacey approach, almost like you're hanging out with the person on the couch. It was kind of comforting because I had like this really fucked up schedule at the time when I was really getting into watching YouTube and gaming videos and stuff like that. And yeah, it kind of made me feel like the other person was there. I know that sounds really sorry, but when you're working shifts from 7 o'clock in the morning and you don't get home till like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, it starts to become a lonely life, especially if you're doing that sometimes 7 days a week and you don't know when your next day off was. Like, I had a lot of anxiety issues from that job afterwards. Unfortunately, that job was not made for me, and it was super stressful. It had a lot to do with confidential information and security. It was like a need to know basis. Like, I was delivering things that I didn't even know what it was. I was delivering things to places that had like locked doors and stuff like that. Like, some of the places like were for insurance companies and stuff like that. It's been past 5 years, and I could talk about the specific places I went to, but I won't, just to be safe. But it wasn't anything like sketchy. It was just high security stuff, like stuff that for all I know your information might have been on there. I don't know. They don't tell you what you're delivering information wise. You just know. I don't know if you've seen like Sony developing like these little cartridges. It was like a couple of years ago that can hold like terabytes and terabytes of information. It was mostly like things like that just had information, and you just keep on, the company would ask for certain cartridges with information on them, and I would basically deliver them, but I wouldn't know what was on them or anything like that. Anything could be on them. They could be blank for all I know. Part of the reason is if you ever got like held up or whatever, you don't know what's on the tapes or whatever, and it was just super stressful. Like, the truck had an alarm system on it. Sometimes the alarm would go off on its own and stuff like that. And it was just highly stressful. You had to be somewhere at a certain time of day, and just like 7 days a week. Sometimes from 7 in the morning, because I also ran the library and ran the computer system that actually put everything in the database and scanned. And you were like in this area that, like, if there was ever a fire, it would basically suck out all the oxygen, and I was by myself all the time. It was for someone who's not me. But anyway, it was stressful in the video anyway, and I got home and everybody was like going to bed mode, and I had to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I just got home at 2, and it was a lonely lifestyle. I'll have to say I didn't like it very much, and it definitely took a toll on like anxiety and depression and stuff like that. But anyway, you'll see a part in this video where like I pause because I'm getting a phone call about another crisis. Late 2015 and early 2016 has been such a fucking shitty year. I can't even begin to tell you. I haven't even rationalized everything that's happened in my life in a short amount of time. And like, none of it has to do with me, like as far as anything I did, but I almost feel like I'm taking on a lot of it, even though like none of it is because of anything that I personally caused. And I guess I have that kind of personality sometimes, where like I take things to heart sometimes, but so much has happened in a short amount of time. It's not that I don't care, it's just that I've gotten numb. And with these videos and stuff, sometimes it's hard for me to even focus and think of things to talk, because I guess I'm not dealing with it, I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to put this aside 1 second. Sorry, even though it's snowing, somehow I have allergies. But anyway, I was not blowing my nose on the microphone, by the way. I actually turned around and sneezed. I don't know what it sounds like on the microphone, so I'm just letting you know I'm not being rude. I probably need to turn off some of these notifications, but I don't know if you could turn off download notifications that are popping up on the side. But anyway, part of me is like putting a lot of the stuff in the back of my mind, and like I'll emotionally deal with this later. So that's why sometimes I'll be talking and I'll pause and stuff, because there's just a lot of going through my mind, and these videos help so much, and just working on things and focusing on other things help a lot. Even though in the back of my mind the stuff's playing over and over again, it really does help. This was actually part of, anyway, look, see, I'm going all over the place. This was, but you'll see a part where I pause. It might already pass because I got lost in my little tangent, but my mom called to let me know some stuff, and I wanted to keep on recording. I actually think it's close around this time, but you'll just see Rebecca come to a complete stop. But anyway, this was part of the Resident Evil Origins collection, physical disc, also available on Xbox One. You can download this game on PC, which actually runs up to 60 frames per second. I don't think it makes a difference, and I don't think it adds any extra animation. It kind of probably adds extra frames, kind of like that cinema mode that some TVs have, where it makes like a regular movie look like a soap opera because it adds artificial frames. But I don't think it's like they natively like added like or animated the characters to run at that pace. But I think that should be an option for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, because this is not pushing the system by any means. It looks super nice, but I mean, these are pre-rendered backgrounds with pretty decent 3D models that are pretty up to par to the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 models. If they're a little bit better, I can't honestly tell. I think the textures are a little bit better from the PlayStation 3 version I played, but I don't know why they didn't give you the option, because if they can do Last of Us and Uncharted, which is all polygonal, and I think the character models are actually more detailed at 60 frames per second, I don't understand why they can't do this, unless they just didn't want to deal with it and it was a quick port. It's fine because I really like these games. So Origins came with the Resident Evil HD collection. I mean, the Resident Evil HD Remastered and the Resident Evil 0 HD Remastered, both which were on GameCube and Wii. If you want to play the originals for whatever reason, even though I feel like at this point you should just either download the HD versions because it has that analog like control, and it has an easy mode. I'm actually playing on easy mode. I feel like I paid my dues in Resident Evil, and I just want a more relaxed version of this game that's just fun and you can solve puzzles. So this is the first time I'm actually playing these games on easy. I have the original on GameCube, but if you want to play the originals, even though you pretty much can play the originals on here, because you can actually switch to the regular formatted TV 4:3 mode or whatever aspect ratio, so you're really not missing out. But if you're a purist or whatever, I would definitely get the Wii version, play with the Pro controller, because in my opinion the tank controls on the Wii like require D-pad. You can use the analog stick, but I don't know how you can play with the tank controls with the analog stick, and the D-pad on the GameCube is like a freaking Game Boy Color size D-pad. It's ridiculously small. Like, at least on the Wii, the Pro controller, the D-pad's big enough for adult hands, so I think it works out a lot better. But yeah, you can. We finally have physical copies. There is a physical copy which I did back in the day, which I might do again later on. I don't know. I don't see what the point is anymore. I'm gonna cover the PlayStation 4 version of Resident Evil, the HD collection. I keep on calling it collection because this is the Origins collection. The Resident Evil HD remake on PlayStation 4 and play as Chris Redfield. I don't see what the point is of playing as Jill again. To show you the difference, because the backgrounds will look essentially the same and it'll make it slightly different. But maybe if I ever decide to show you more, maybe Jill's game. I don't know. I really don't schedule out this channel. I kind of grab games and play them when I feel like it, and then share them with you. But so yeah, the physical copy comes with Resident Evil 0 remastered and the original Resident Evil, which is appropriate because this is actually a prequel to Resident Evil, because there was murders in the town. If you ever read the little like text scroll, I think it was in text, the little cutscene before the game starts, and then it shows a CGI rendered. I do, however, miss the old live action full motion video 90s cutscenes in the original Resident Evils. I wish there was almost like a bonus feature where you could add that in. But anyway, you're playing as Bravo Team in this, and Bravo Team is actually the team that you're trying to find in the original Resident Evil. Your Alpha Team, you're looking for Bravo Team. So a lot of the people that you find dead in the original Resident Evil are very much alive in this game, because it's basically telling the story of what happened to Bravo Team. And this is Rebecca. If you play Chris's game, you'll see Rebecca. I'm not as familiar with this game because this game, as you'll see later in the game, uses this zapping system. It's a single player game, but you have to micromanage 2 characters, and the character is not particularly all that intelligent on their own. That's why I figured maybe playing on easy will make it fun. I feel like I paid my dues with the original Resident Evils, where I want to have fun with this. If it's too easy, I'll switch it back to normal. I don't know, I haven't played easy mode. It seems okay so far, like it's not overly stupid easy, but I don't know, I haven't played enough of it. I actually when I got this, I started playing Resident Evil 1 again as Jill. I just like Jill's game better because she can hold more inventory, and Resident Evil is very inventory based, and there's a lot of backtracking. And I don't know, I can't remember if Chris gets the belt or not. I know Jill does offhand, where she can hold even more stuff. And I don't know, I just like Jill's game more. Like in each character usually has like a partner. Like Jill has Barry, which is kind of cool, and then when you play as Chris, he has Rebecca, who you play as in this game. This game also came out with alternate outfits. The other one did too. You could play as the Resident Evil 5 versions of the characters, which I don't know. In my opinion, I think their outfits look kind of stupid. I like the original designs of both characters more than the downloadable outfits. And I think that the what was I gonna say? Oh, anyway, it's not that I think the ones in the original Resident Evil, you could probably download more outfits. I honestly don't know. I haven't looked into it. I know they're already trying to sell stuff but I noticed on my receipt there was like a code I could put in to get more outfits for this game, where she was like in this porcelain doll like nurse's dress. It looked kind of strange, and I was just like, I like the original designs way better. And I kind of wish with the first Resident Evil, instead of adding Resident Evil 5 outfits, they had like the outfit from Resident Evil 3 and stuff like that. I don't know, like everybody looks like they're going to like everybody sorry, I was gonna say going commando, but that just means that you're not wearing underwear. That's what that's slang for. But everybody's dressed like a commando in the Resident Evil 5 game, and for the area, I don't know. I just like the original classic designs. I guess that's because those are the most fondest Resident Evil memories that I have, but I don't know, after Resident Evil 1, you didn't really see Chris Redfield again until, I guess, Code Veronica. I don't know, but and then you got like steroid buff and looked super ridiculous in Resident Evil 5 and 6. I actually like Resident Evil 6. I know a lot of people don't. I thought everybody's mission was kind of slightly different, and I thought some were better than others. Like I really liked Ada Wong's. I thought Chris's mission was fine, but I think Ada Wong's and Leon Kennedy's, I can't remember what the girl's name was. I promise I liked the game even though I can't remember what the girl's name were. I think those were the strongest missions out of all 4 of them, but I thought they were all enjoyable. And just like this game, they were trying some new stuff. I know it's more action oriented, but as a game on its own, it was still fun. And I guess what they're trying to do now is, beside bring these games back, and then they're remaking Resident Evil 2, which is blowing my mind, but I have a sneaking suspicion Resident Evil 2 is going to be a lot like Resident Evil Revelations, where it's has that over the shoulder view and it's more action oriented like the originals, but not as much Michael Bay action oriented as like maybe 5 and 6. I don't know. Out of all the Resident Evils, beside the crappy spin-offs like that Game Boy Color one, I actually liked Resident Evil Survivor and those type of games. Maybe if I played them today, I might not like them. I don't know, but I don't know. When I had a PlayStation 2, I wasn't really all that picky. I just wanted to play games. I remember that they had a video rental store that actually had, gosh, I sound old. You guys hopefully know what a Blockbuster Video was, but you pay like a certain amount and you could rent as many games as you wanted with 1 at a time, or you could pay a little bit more and rent 2 at a time. It was kind of like, I don't know if you can get physical stuff from Redbox, but it was, or I guess you do with GameFly obviously, but it was basically in the mail-in service, but if you actually went to the store and picked the stuff up. And where I worked at the time was a grocery store, and I would pick up the games and play them whenever I got off, and when I get sick of the game, I'd trade it, and I go back and forth. Probably shouldn't have been doing that because I was going to school at the same time, and I had like art projects that required a minimum of 9 hours to be spent on one composition, plus my other classes. But like with psychology and stuff like that, I was pretty good. All I'd have to do is read the chapter twice, and since that sort of stuff really interested me, it stuck with me, so that was no big deal. Like, I was so good, I'm not bragging or anything like I'm some sort of like genius phenomenon or something like that. I was just really good at psychology instead of going for art, which I guess was more interesting for my career like path that I wanted to take at the time. I wanted to design creative things in some way, whether it was games, movies. I didn't even mind if I could have been a storyboard artist or something. I just wanted to get in some sort of creative field, but as time went on, I found out that maybe my true calling was psychology, and maybe if I don't get too old, maybe instead of going for an art career or something, look into more psychological, like medical field stuff like that. I don't know. And if I'm wording all this wrong, I'm watching the video, so I'm not focusing completely on what I'm saying, which sometimes I feel like that's I'm letting you guys down by doing that, but these videos are therapy for me. I just like talking and watching, and sometimes I get into the game or get into talking about life, and I have trouble like focusing back and forth. You wouldn't believe it though, like at work or working like when I worked in retail, which was really multitasking. I was really good, but you know, I guess it's because I feel like I'm almost reading a speech in front of the class and people are like watching, even though there's nobody here. I know that potentially hundreds of people can watch my video, and it's always in the back of my mind. Plus, with all the stuff that's happening, I know I'm always making excuses, and I should just say screw it and just say whatever I want to. But I always feel like everything I say is going to be picked apart and stuff like that, and in turn, all that really does is like hurt my commentary, because then like I'm stuttering and I'm not using the correct words, or I'm using made up words that sound right. I don't know. But anyway, if I ever went back to school, I might consider taking some sort of career path in psychology or whatever, like something to do with that, because I seem to be better than that. Like, fine arts is a noble thing, and it looks good on a career, it looks good on a resume, but it's hard to get a successful career in that sort of field. And if you do, like, don't expect a lot of money for it. There's very few people that make a lot of money doing something creative as far as film and art and stuff like that goes. Usually you do art, you have like a regular job and you do art as a side job. But anyway, this is showing you an example of the swapping feature. And basically the way the swapping feature works is that you can have the player be automatically controlled, or you can use the right stick, which is kind of interesting. All this stuff did not work well on the GameCube. I think on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One it'll work really well. One disappointing thing I noticed with the Japanese import of Resident Evil HD Remake on PlayStation 3 versus the PlayStation 4 Origins collection is when I opened up the American Resident Evil Origins collection, there was no manual, anything. There wasn't even a slip of paper inside. When I got the import version of the PS3 version, no, there wasn't, because the PS3 was the only available import version that you could get. There was no other physical copies of this game, and that ended up being one of their best-selling games. That's why I think they decided to eventually release Zero and actually release a physical copy here. But there was never a physical copy of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One version until now. Before that, the import PlayStation 3 was the only copy, but I will have to say that version came with a nice booklet, and it was also in English, surprisingly enough, and the cover of that game was also reversible. It's almost like Capcom knew that people were going to import it because the PlayStation 3, unless they specifically, the company that specifically makes the disc actually region locks it, you can pretty much play imports. It's not like back in the day that you had to mod your system to play a certain game. I know the only game I know of that I have that's region locked, and I probably have more because I was more games than I can count, but the only one I knew distinctively that's region locked was Persona 4 Arena. I can't remember what the reason was, but that one was region locked. I think the games came out fairly somewhat close together, and they really did. Atlus really does a good job of localizing their games, and that's one company that if you're into old school games and RPGs, I would definitely support. To me, Atlus represents what Square Enix used to be, and I really still do like Square Enix, but it's not the same Square and Enix that I remember from growing up. But anyway, this is Resident Evil Origins Collection. Definitely pick it up if you like these types of games. Has both HD remasters. Worth the money. It's $20 less than a new game. Thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you on the next video. Take care. Bye.
If you want to, like, comment, and subscribe!